It's really nice to see that the smaller and mid-level teams that were dominant in the mid to late 2000s have come back in the 2020s and have started to gain back some relevancy. And one of those teams that we're going to talk about today is the Detroit Pistons, because through a lot of hard work, a lot of failed experiments, they've finally been able to put a team together that is not only exciting to probably watch, but it's going to be one of the best in the next couple of years. So let's talk about what the Detroit Pistons have been able to do to build what I consider a perfect core to be one of the more dominant teams in the coming years. Before we get started, I'm Phubby. I make basketball content here on YouTube, and people seem to like the content so far. So if you like basketball, you need to fix in the offseason, since we don't have a lot of meaningful basketball for another 3 months. Hit the subscribe button, the like button. We're just really close to 2,500, and I'd love to have you here. One thing I think teams take for granted is when players are very committed to their city. Right now, I think the Sacramento Kings definitely underestimated that with Tyrese Halliburton, a guy that was very tied to Sacramento and wanted to be better for the city, not only the team. And I think Detroit Pistons have a guy like that in their new draft pick in Jaden Ivy and in Cade Cunningham, since Cade even said he didn't want to be drafted anywhere other than Detroit. And Jaden Ivy, knowing that he could get drafted to Sacramento, told them no, he wanted to be in Detroit as he has ties to the city. So having players on this team that not only want to be here and would be good for the city is perfectly fine, knowing that going into the future, you have guys that are committed to you and you don't have to worry about if they want to be anywhere else. And it starts right now with Cade Cunningham, who in the first start of the rookie season had it a little bit rough, was shooting horrible percentages, really just didn't look like he had a hold of the NBA game, but slowly and surely, him, just like Jalen Green, as the months went on, just got better and better. And it got to the point where the last month in the season, in March, where he played significant time, he averaged nearly 23, 6, and 7, but for the entire season, the man averaged 17.4 points, 5.5 rebounds, 5.6 assists on 42% shooting and 31% from 3. But you look at after the All-Star break, he averaged 21 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 6.5 assists on 46% shooting. Now, while the three-point shot still needs a little bit of work, his set point is a little bit too low, and it's very easy to contest and sometimes block. So I think that's definitely a focal point to work on this season. Cade Cunningham is one of those guards that is impossible to speed up. He gets to where he wants to on the court, and even though his 5.5 assists doesn't jump off the page at you and tell you just how good of a playmaker he is, it's just because Detroit truly just doesn't have the personnel on the shooting end to really supplement and show just how good Cade has been as a passer. From being one of the higher players in passes made per game and being pretty high up in their potential assists and secondary assists, Cade is one of those players that just doesn't have the shooting and just personnel and talent around him to show just good of a playmaker he is. But added to that, added with a better core around him that can score, and Cade can definitely take off. But he's not the only one on this team that makes this team probably one of the more exciting teams to watch. Enter Jaden Ivy, the 6'4" combo guard from Purdue, who has some explosive leaping and finishing ability at the rim that gained comparisons to Donovan Mitchell and Anthony Edwards in this draft. But with his dynamic scoring ability and ability to finish on the rim and extreme athleticism, it also comes with what you get when you have guards that are that athletic. Most likely it is a underdeveloped jump shot. And going into his first freshman season at Purdue, his jump shot was again a work in progress. But going into this season, his last season in college, averaging 17 points per game on 36% from 3, it shows some insane growth from the 25% he shot earlier, and you can only expect improvements at the NBA level. Now, in his first rookie season with Cade, he also has had problems in college with being very out of control when going to the rim and having a little bit of tunnel vision at times, even though he does have a good eye to be a okay passer. But with that being said, having a guard next to Cade who's very adept at slowing down the offense, finding guys, getting the ball up in transition, and putting guys in places that they can be their best at, this is the perfect place for Jaden Ivy. Being next to a guard like Cade that can bring out the best in him and his teammates and allow Jaden Ivy to not have to worry about being this playmaker that I don't think he really is. He's definitely a scorer, and he definitely has the ability to be a great two-way player, being 6'4" and 195 pounds, pretty well built with a 6'9" wingspan. He has the really good potential to be a two-way player in this league, and being next to a true passer and floor general in Cade is exactly what he needs to just develop the skills that best suit him and let the playmaking come with time. And to round out the big three for this team's future, you have Jalen Duran, who is one of the more higher touted prospects in the 2022 NBA draft. I'm surprised he slipped all the way down to the Detroit Pistons. But he gained some comparisons to Andre Drummond, which I don't think is really fair. I think he has more potential to be a taller Bam Adebayo. He's shown insane ability and a lot of potential to switch out to guards on the perimeter. He's a very good pick and roll defender. He's very good at being a weak side shot blocker. He has an insane wingspan at 7'5", and he's explosive as they come. A very good, fast, quick twitch leaper. The only thing that is a little bit shaky is his basketball IQ and his ever-growing offensive game, but he's also shown a little bit of an ability to be a pretty good passer, which is exactly what Bam came into the league with. And I think given the right core around him, given the right development team, this man can turn out to be something great. And right now, putting him as the lob option, just to grow as that next to a Jaden Ivy, next to a Cade Cunningham, to put him on a team where he can be the centerpiece on defense and become a core part of this team going forward is exactly what he'll need. And it's exactly what the Pistons need, as they're one of the teams in the DeAndre Ayton sweepstakes. But with Jalen Duran here as the guy going forward, I don't think they'll be going as hard for DeAndre Ayton anymore. And right now, this just rounds out the core that makes this team probably one of the more exciting to watch and one of the better teams for years to come. But even with that being said, this team doesn't just end here with these three. You traded for a guy in Marvin Bagley that just simply was in a horrible situation in Sacramento. And as soon as he came here, he had the best numbers since his rookie season. And in the second half of the season where he only played 16 games, but he still averaged over 15.7 rebounds. And while his three-point shot has always been a work in progress and seems to have not gotten any better, he's still a very good inside scorer. While his defensive motor is in question sometimes, you can definitely see him as somebody that you can grow with, and he fits in this team's timeline. He has a lot of places he can grow, and given, I guess, the keys, not even the keys, just a little bit of belief in him, since Sacramento just didn't seem like they had that at all, is perfect for this man and is exactly what he needs going forward throughout his entire career. And not having to worry about being that guy coming to the league as he was the second pick in the NBA draft, but now being on a team where he's solidified as probably the third offensive option behind Cade and Jaden Ivy. It's a perfect situation in him without all the expectations in the world, but with all of the opportunity to get better. And then to round it out, you have Saddiq Bey that showed a lot of potential this past season as a shooter. Even though he wasn't crazy efficient, he was very streaky. I think consistency is where his game can grow next, and having a shooter of his caliber that can maybe get you a good 38% from three, maybe close to 40 at the volume he does take them, can be incredibly good going forward for this team's future. You have guys like Hamidou Diallo coming off the bench. You have the veteran presence if you do keep a Kemba Walker, if you don't buy him out. Overall, this team just has everything it needs to be successful, and seeing what Detroit's been able to build so far has been insane. And I'm really glad they didn't pull that trigger on freaking Miles Bridges. Really smart move. With all that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. These guys are probably one of my favorite young teams to watch, or going to be one of my favorite young teams to watch. Watching Cade last year was a treat, seeing how good he can be and just knowing what the future is for this team. Overall, just let me know what you guys think about Detroit Pistons. Do you think they can be a play-in team this year? Do you think they have everything they need to be successful? With that being said, this FLB, that's my time, and I'm out.